It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? Hey there neighbors, it is good to see you this week. This week we have a special message from our stewardship team. That's the team that helps us raise money so that we can have church, so that we can come to the neighborhood. Let's see what they have to say. Let me get the video for us.
But a Samaritan, while traveling, came near him, and when he saw him, he was moved with pity. He went and bandaged his wounds, having poured oil and wine on them. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day, he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper and said, "Take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever more you spend." Jesus tells us, "Go and do likewise."
This is a season in our life together at UCC Norwell when we are called to go and do likewise. This is a moment when we are being challenged to live into the claims we make, to be a church without walls, to be a church that's more than our building, to be a church more than 1 hour on Sunday morning, to be a church rooted in prayer and one that's Christ-centered, embodying His hope and resilience an obligation to do justice, to be a church committed to loving our neighbor.
We started being more creative with how we share the message. I wanted Reverend Ashley's neighborhood to provoke all of us, from the youngest to the oldest, to consider what it means to be a neighbor, to be generous with our resources and with our compassion.
We continued with musical meditations because it's more important than ever that we provide space for prayer, stillness, and spiritual reflection.
We started sewing masks almost immediately, initially making them for hospitals, and then as the crisis continued, making them for members of the congregation and our church's wider community. And we continued to make our masks as long as there is need.
We knew the need was there, that the pandemic would adversely impact our neighbors near and far. So we gathered a group of church members who are also leaders in the Norwell and Greater South Shore community to understand how UCC Norwell could respond in love.
Food insecurity will reach record levels as a result of COVID-19. Access to fresh produce is a huge need. We built and planted a vegetable garden on our property that allows us to provide fresh produce. So while we can't be together in worship, we can still share in and further Christ's mission to love our neighbor.
Through our Sharing of the Harvest program, we've donated over 200 pounds of produce to Father Bill's shelter in Quincy.
Mission and Outreach reached out to our partner organizations to see how they were doing and what we could do to help. We expedited our donation to Asa Prosar in El Salvador, as well as our giving to many of our other partners. We wanted to do what we could as soon as we could.
Right away, UCC Norwell stepped up. Acting in compassion and generosity, we have been able to make a significant and profound impact on individual lives and organizations that work to serve them.
Go and do likewise is how Jesus concludes his telling of the Good Samaritan, so that it's not some idyllic story of goodwill anchored in the pages of the biblical narrative, But for those who seek to follow Jesus, it is the example of the depths of compassion and generosity and love of neighbor that we are called to emulate in this life.
Are we there yet? No, but we're getting closer all the time. Join us on the journey by making a financial pledge to support and further our ministries, promoting spiritual deepening and Christ-centered action.